Today is a very big topic that I wanted to share of my knowledge of it, right? The moment that we decide whether that the rich people are somehow luckier than us, or that rich people were born into wealth, that may be the case for the inheritance. But I assure you, most people get it wrong sometimes that people think that the people who I look up to wasn't born into wealth. People believe that you America, you were wealthy because I believe that society, as you grow old, it destroy your hopes and dreams, and they instill you a philosophy, a principle, opinions based upon what people think of the rich people. And I know that people think that rich people are ruthless, rude, and whatever it that may be. And most people get it wrong. Back then, I, I think that rich people was corrupted. Why did I say that? Well, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I had a book where I really love back when I was reading it, and I think that uh, I should share this. Um, that people have the wrong idea of rich people, right? And that's why a lot of people hate on them. For me, I don't hate on them like I used to think about them because Bill Gates, Jack Ma, Jeff Bezos, or Sam Walton, who wrote a book. All the rich people who was alive, they wrote a book that so we can succeed, and they pass on. Of course, it's to sell their books, but it's to pass on their knowledge and leave a legacy. That's why I love Gary Vee. He wasn't born rich. He wasn't born into wealth. I love Grant Cardone. He wasn't born into wealth, and he's a multi, he's a hecta millionaire. And Bob Proctor wasn't born into wealth. Matter of fact, he even said himself his family wasn't born into wealth, and that's the mindset that most people go into because most people look up to idols that aren't really successful. Jim Rohn, who I used to look up to, Tony Robbins, who I used to look up to, they're nothing and then they build wealth. Tony Robbins, everybody know in the personal development, he's very wealthy. Wealthy people, he have influence, he have a lot of success in his life. But he didn't always start that way. It's the same thing as Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was broke and he was tired of being broke. So Jim Rohn was when he was 25, he was broke. Around 25, he was broke, and then until he was 31 or 30, around there, he become a millionaire. But he was generous, right? So there's this book, the top 10 distinctions between millionaires and the middle class, right? They say that a lot of people will disagree with this, but the reason why Grant Cardone always say the middle class is shrinking because it's the poor and the rich, right? It's because people when it comes to like school, like Robert Kiyosaki said, school didn't us about money. They tell you to save, but that's it. They don't tell you what how can we like how what rich people do with their money, right? And there's the distinction is the top 10 is will be millionaires think long term, the middle class thinks short term. This is the content. Millionaires talk about ideas, middle class talk about things and other people. Distinction 8, millionaire embrace change, the middle threatened by change. Distinction 7, millionaires take calculated risk, middle class is afraid to take risks. Distinction 6, millionaires continue to learn and grow. This one, the distinction 6 is my favorite one. The middle class thinks learning ended with school. Distinction with 5, millionaires work for profits, the middle class work for wages. Distinction number 4, millionaires believe they must be generous, the middle class believe they can't afford to give. Distinction 3, millionaires have multiple sources of income, the middle class is only one or two. So section one, millionaire focus on increasing their net worth, while the middle class focus on increasing its paycheck. 87. Oh, that's the page. So section one, millionaire ask themselves empowering question. Uh, Middle class people ask themselves in disempowering question. So let me give you a story back when I was a kid. Now, those who you ever watch, Scarface, right? You probably think it was a great movie, right? Where he was working hard and she's all that. But then something happened, and I remember as a kid, my best friend showed it to me, and I didn't understand what was I watching it. But then as I later on, I developed a perception, a a misconception about rich people, and that was uh they will become corrupted, like Scarface, the guy, because I saw what he did, and yeah. But after I read lots of books on rich people, they're not like that. The reason why they're rich is because they built wealth. They built businesses, big businesses like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Have you ever seen that? If you read Sam Walton book, how he made America, he wrote it, his autobiography, and how most people got it wrong, right? Most people don't understand that the reason why they wanted money freedom, or this is how I look at it, because I have lots of, they wanted to have their time back, right? They wanted to have freedom back, because if you're working from 9 to 5 or job, right? Is you're jaded by the time that you don't. You're jaded by the time. They control your time. They control your paycheck. They control whatever you do, what time you go in, what time you go out. They tell you what to do. Most people are like robots in society, where they're walking through life, don't have their dream goals or their dream to pursue, but they're like mindlessly believing in the thing that of the myth that could have been destroyed. And there are a lot of myths. There's a lot of, like Ty Lopez said, there's a glutton, stupid knowledge out there, and most people believe in these myths and still do. And I know that people don't disagree, but if you dive deep long enough, how Andrew Carnegie or most successful people build their wealth, you will see it. And not only that, if you hear the science of getting rich, I probably will find like links to that and probably put down in the description below. And as read and study on rich people, it's not true. And the reason why is this: if uh, you know, who people who I look up to are Les Brown. I remember Les Brown. He said, "I had." I have a MBA, and it wasn't an MBA, but it was a mega bank account, and he's a rich dude. But we look up to him, or I look up to him. He changed my life. And the thing that we got wrong is we don't understand how they work, and so we justify what they do. We justify that they were lucky and somehow they got connected, or somehow. Okay, look, I was born in poor background, right? And I don't have no connection, right? I have no way, no nothing to be able to reach out to people who I want to interview. Now, people believe that they need connection to be able to do things in the world. That may be, but it doesn't start. Like, you may don't have the connection, you may not have the money or the resources. So what do you need to do? Tony Robbins always said you got to be resourceful. And I feel like people who have money aren't as resourceful as people who have nothing, but nothing but against their back is that they have to always climb up. That's what I have right here. It's a business book by Damon John. He's in the Shark Tank, star of ABC Shark Tank, The Power Broke. Great book. Anybody who know Damon Jones, it's a great book. He also Rethink and Grow Rich, but that doesn't matter. I mean that's so. Today I will read this one for you, and you may think that whatever you hate them or not. See, you should not hate rich people. Most people do hate rich people, but they don't really understand it because if you hate rich people, you're robbing of yourself of the knowledge and the wisdom they have left for you. Their content, their interviews. I mean, think about it. Um, their their books. Jim Rohn wrote a book, and he's a millionaire. Grant Cardone, he's a multimillionaire. He wrote his books. Bob Proctor, he's rich. Brian Tracy, he wrote books. The reason why most people, Brian Tracy or Will Smith, tell you to read books because you those problems that you're trying to solve is already like the problem that you're trying to solve, someone already solved it, have solved that, and it take them years and experience to distill it in the book, and all you do is just read it, and it saves you time and money. That's why I do book reviews, because it saves you time and it saves you money on buying books. I mean, since I love reading books, might as well give all the best I can give it to you. So, and most people believe that you can't add value, right, through videos, or you can't. And there's no such thing as a lot of value. Yeah, there's a thing that you can give a lot of value. Most people think not, but I disagree. Think long term in every area of your life. I want you to be aware that this principle of thinking long term not only applies to your financial life, but to every area of your life. It's wise to think long term in your relationships. When you do, you will show more respect to others and think from a win win perspective. If you think short term in your relationships, you will be looking for what others can do for you and end up using people as means to an end. You are someone who always use people for your own gain, then chances you will be a lonely person, especially in your later years. Millionaires develop long-term relationships, which also help them with their long-term financial success. They think about how they can best serve their families, friends, and clients. When you reach the end of your life, it is the relationship you have developed that make you truly rich. Ask yourself on a daily basis, you can build deeper and stronger relationship with the people you love. Just as there are people who are very poorly financially, there are also people who are very poor emotionally. People who can't love or be patient or kind. People who can't forgive. People who get angry easily are very poorly emotionally. Focus on being rich emotionally as well as financially. Um, I would like to say there's something that I wanted to say, but I forgot. I wish. Being rich in your relationship is more than success. Oh yeah, the reason why most people think that rich people don't care about their family. Matter of fact, rich people do care about their family. They want to spend more time with their family. Unless you're like Gary Vee. He loves his family, but he's a businessman, right? Um, Grant Cardone. If you don't see his posts, he's always with his family. Like he bring his family with him in the business. Like they care about their family. Most people think that they don't care about their family at all. Not true. Most people think that, right? There's a lot of many different things that most people have misconception about rich people. Rich people are, yeah, sure, they're wealthy, but their their wealth, their success does not limit you in any way. Matter of fact, enhance you. That's why you see a lot of people like Les Brown, Grant Cardone, Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy. They have a wealth of experience, knowledge, and they distill it into a program, videos, or books. Right. That's why I love books, because it's for me, it's helped me along my journey, and I believe that the reason why I read books is to clean out the gutter that most people have, to clean out the idea, the assumptions, the which control their world, their what the how they view uh rich people. And I mean, I look up to Jackie Chan. He's up there, man. Like he's rich. I remember there was one video he was talking about that he was rich when he was like 21. That's crazy. Financial sex is Becoming rich in your relationship is more than success. It's significant. It's fulfillment. Financial success without relational fulfillment is not rewarding. Think long term in your financial life and in your emotional life. It's wise to think long term about your physical health. If you do, then you will make time to exercise your body and eat more healthy. If you don't think long term in your health, then you will negate um, neglect exercise and eat too much junk. Chances are you will become overweight and live with low amount of energy. Thinking long term in your health uh, empowers you with energy to become more successful financially. Every area of your life is connected, and thinking long term in each area will improve. It's wise to think long term in your mental life. What would you like to spend your life thinking about? Is there a certain subject that inspires you? What do you enjoy giving your mental energy to? People who spend their lives thinking about things that excite and inspire them to incredible peace of mind. People who can be considered very poor mentally are those complain and spend their energy on something they dislike. And then he talked about uh, mm, yeah, instant gratification. Here we go. Here we go. When I first start thinking year to year, my income really start to increase. I ask myself like, how can I double my income this year? How can I legally pay less in taxes this year? And most people hate rich people because of they pay less taxes, right? Ah, notion. I have this principle of long-term thinking in the lives of my mentor. It has changed me to challenged me to look farther into my future. I now have business plans that go 20 years into the future. I spend time on regular base thinking about what I want my life to be like 5, 10, and 20 years from now. Then I create plans for how to get there. What would your life to be like 10 years from now? Think about it and start planning for it. Thinking long term requires patience. Patience is an asset in the life of millionaires. Impatience is a liability in the life of middle class. Middle class people want instant gratification. I was like that for many years when I wanted I charged my credit card or put it a the little bit down payment on the balance. Now I wait for things I want because my goal is more freedom, not comfort. Rich and very rich people have developed the discipline of delayed gratifications. Millionaires do today what others don't do so they can have tomorrow what others won't. The very poor and middle class will never be free. More and more freedom is the goal of the rich and very rich. They love to be in control of their lives. The very poor and middle class have put control of their lives into the hands of others, which ironically are the hands of the rich and very rich. Millionaires value freedom over comfort, and because they do, they get both. Because the millionaires value comfort over freedom. So this is true. Most things that most people buy is based upon the rich people, movies, the entertainment, all rich people, right? The the shoe that you wear, the brand, rich people. They built the companies, Sam Walton. They built the things that Steve Jobs was rich, built it, iPad, whatever. And what happened is most people think that uh, rich people like to have control, while poor people want to be controlled by people, right? People believe, like a lot of people, when they go to school, they believe in the myth of degrees, and I don't believe in the degrees. You can become successful in your own way if it's made me sad that people will waste their time going to school and energy that they could have been doing something that enhance enrich their life for the better. That's my the opinions of thinking it differently. Most people don't think like that. Now, this one is my favorite. Millionaire continue to learn and grow. The middle class think learning ended with school. Why is it that $1 million homes have libraries? It's just a coincidence that $1 million homes have them and 100,000 dollar homes don't. I don't think so. Most millionaires I know read one book a week. In my circle of influence, we are always recommending books and audio programming to each other. One of my friends has spent $500,000 studying success. I have spent $100,000 on my success education. If you have a middle class mentality, you're probably thinking, I don't have the kind of money to spend to learn how to make money. I didn't say that my friends or I spend all that money all at once. We continue to invest in our knowledge as we make more money. Success is a process. If a percentage of your income isn't going towards a financial education, you will stay trapped in the middle class. The more money you spend on financial knowledge, the more money you will make. You can start with books, I promise you. Millionaires read and read and read. Books are so inexpensive compared how much the knowledge that they contain is worth. Are you aware that you can learn a concept in only a few hours from a book that took someone years to develop? More people than ever are becoming millionaires because they are compressing time and learning financial secret that took others to discover. I feel like some of the $20 books I have read were worth 20,000 because of what I learned from them. Hold up. I bought this, right, because of Ty Lopez. He always talk about in his video, right? This book worth a lot of money. Um, why I bought it because he Charlie Munger is a partner with Warren Buffett, and he's a billionaire. And I want to learn from these people because this guy gives you wealth of information that your friends, your colleague, your coworker, your the people who you work with don't have the type of knowledge that you're seeking or don't have the experience that you're looking for. And you want to learn from the best. And I'm learning from the best. And as I read this book, it gave me a lot. Most people think it's a cost. Jim Rohn said, "Oh no, you should." Most people think it's a cost to spend money on books or programs, but it's not a cost. Cost is if you don't learn it and you spend your whole life through experiences and the mistakes, and you never get out of those experiences, right? And then now how much does it cost? Is 67. Now most people think that's a lot of money. Actually, no. I remember back when I was in college, I bought out of my own paycheck textbooks, which I don't but it disappeared, so it cost me $100, and that didn't worth. I believe that books have values. I believe that it worth more than most people think. A book is just $20, but it's worth more if you think about it. This cost me maybe cost me like 67, but it in the future it will give me a highest return in investment, hopefully, right? I mean, a lot of most people think that books aren't really valuable. I believe for me it is valuable to the degree that it changed my life, it changed my mind, and it changed who I am, and it gives you the scope of knowledge. And I mean, the thing that I read, it's very interesting. The thing is, the knowledge that I um, uh, learn and develop over the years is you when you read them, at first you don't understand them, and second, you read over and over, you understand that wow, sometimes I wish I knew that I have this type of knowledge with me when I was younger. I wish I would have I could have been more successful then if I knew that when I was younger. And it kind of make me pissed that I wasn't surrounded by wisdom knowledge, right? And most people don't want to buy books because they in addition to books, and because they were burned out by usually poor people don't read books, or middle class. I mean, I remember there was a lady who said my life will be nothing. She went to college and she had a college degree, but she never pick up the book again. Most people who graduate college or high school never pick up a book again because they told. I used to play the story too. It's like, I if I go to school my whole life, then I don't need to learn anymore. But that's wrong mentality. In to addition to books and audio program, Millionaire also pay for advanced advice from people who have special knowledge in a field that they need to learn about. The middle class looks for free advice. Free advice can often be the most expensive advice. Often, free advice end up costing you something. Free advice is usually just the opinion of someone who thinks he knows that what he's talking about, but doesn't have any real world experience. Millionaires don't put much value on real advice. Millionaires learn from people who've been there, done it, and are perfectly still doing it. This is where your financial education expense will start adding up. The books in my success library are probably valued as about $20,000. The investment I have made for personal coaching and mentoring is 5 times that amount. Notice I didn't say the price I paid, I said the investment I have made. It's difficult to put a value on the knowledge you gain from someone who has real world experience. A good coach or mentor charge a price, but millionaires see this expense as an investment. I believe everyone should have a coach. Why not? Every great athlete you can think of this one. Why shouldn't you have one if you want to build great wealth? I realized that middle class couldn't start out by going to events that require this size of investment, but they can read a $20 book that could be worth $20,000 to them if they apply the knowledge they gain. Millionaires invest in their knowledge with people who achieve the successes that they want for themselves. I'm leaving out all the details because I only made the point that the more you invest in your knowledge, the more you will make when you apply it. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. M- Most middle class people stay at the same level of income year after year because their knowledge stays the same level year after year. One reason for this is because they think learning ended with School. Middle millionaires are the student of life. They continue to learn from circumstances of their lives. A common question millionaire asks is, "What can I learn from this?" In contrast, the middle class asks, "Why does this always happen to me?" Because it doesn't learn the lesson or they, I don't know, life is trying to teach. The middle class is destined to go through situation again. How true. The question, why does this always happen to me implies happening again. The only reason the same bad situation arises and again is because your knowledge remains the same. You must continually learn and grow to become and stay a millionaire. If you become a millionaire and stop learning in learning process, then chances you won't remain millionaire for long. Millionaires focus on personal growth. They believe that to have more, they must become more. They see as growing as one of the main purposes of life. Growth takes time. Be patient with yourself as you gain knowledge. Realize that knowledge is a seed that takes time for seed to uh, grow into a tree that bear fruit. Every time you read a book, you're either planting another seed or watering that somewhere already in your mind. Millionaires read books about money and how to build better relationships. They read about the power of the mind. They read about the successes and failure of others. Millionaires are a serious student of successes life, not just financial success. They continue to look for new ways of thinking and acting that can produce more fulfillment in their lives. The secret to being a long life learner is to study what you love. One of the big difference I have seen between millionaires and middle class is that millionaires focus what they enjoy doing. They continue to learn more about the subject that they inspire them. The reason millionaires study about every area of their life is because they love life. The middle class think millionaires love money too much. In my experience, that is simply not true. What is true is that millionaires love what they can do for their families and others with their abundance. Millionaires who are greedy and afraid of losing their money are not truly successful. True success involves peace and contentment. Study success and learn how to make money, but also learn how to content with where you are, where in pursuit of what you want. I repeat, millionaires love life. They love what they do to make money, and they love having money, but they don't love money above life itself. If you love money more than your family or yourself, you have been deceived by it, and you will never achieve true success. Know your priorities. I know people in the high end of the middle class are constantly striving more for more. They love money too much and will continue beyond satisfied with the results until they learn to be content with who they are rather than what they have. I believe many millionaires achieve their success because they had their priority in the right order. I mentioned this in my discussion about learning wrong because some people do get out of balance when they start pursuing financial wealth. They give money too much attention and neglect their families or their health. Don't be one of those people who lose their family and their health while pursuing financial prosperity. Money is important, but it's not worth losing the thing that matters most. Please study financial success and personal fulfillment. It feels good to have money. It feels even better to have deep, meaningful relationship with those you love, and it feels great to have both. Learn to love yourself and others, and learn to earn massive amount of money. So yeah, most people got it wrong. Of course, there are more, but I highly recommend this book. It's a great mental shift that we all have, a mental perception, mental, because a lot of people get this so much wrong about it. It's just a piece of paper with ink on it. I mean, money is an exchange. And I'll see you next time. Subscribe to my channel, like my video because I will do more book reviews because it's my passion to change people's life through books. Because books brings lots of value and it could change you, and it will change you. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.